Hey, it's diys-by-dar, and I am going to show you how to take a plain table and turn it into this fantastic beauty using 3 stencils and 2 stamps. This is part of the Twice as Nice challenge hosted by Crystal from the Crafty Creech and Lavon from Statement Designs. Take and put a piece with 2 uses or 2 different looks, and that's the challenge. Now, this is the piece that I started with. It was $20 and it was really nice and solid, but it had a little bit of a problem. One of the leaves was up and you could not get that leaf down. A really great brand, Cling Colonial. This is vintage out of Canada. Okay, this little piece right here has to be somehow picked up and to turn it back over there. But this little piece that they got holding it here, and it's all one piece, is too tall up here for you to get it back up over to return it. And I see no trick like push it down so you can get it over the top. So it makes no sense. I think somebody just did this as a cruel trick for somebody that was going to buy the table, and they're laughing someplace right now. Well, this is what I was up against. This slope where you would slide that leaf up and it would drop down into that slot. But then you could never pick it back up to get it out. That's why one leaf was stuck open. So I had to take this Dremel tool here and kind of grind down on that little piece and sand it down smooth. You can see it had really big staples in there. So trying to get that off of there would have really probably damaged that wood. I'm not sure. I just kept sanding at it a little by little and then put it down smooth. So this would eventually make that little journey from the one side of the table to the other side of the table where you could take it and push it and lock it into place so the tabletop doesn't come back down. So that was successful. The table is functional. I am going to take 3 stencils and 2 stamps and completely decorate this table. I decided I was going to take that tabletop off because when I looked at how this drop leaf laid, all that dirt and crud was in there, and there was no way I was going to be able to paint in there. So I went ahead and I took it off, and I'm going to go ahead and get this all cleaned up. And I'm glad that I did because it was pretty bad. And I also think that there was some stain leaching out a bit, which when you look at the bottom of this piece, you can see, wow, they just had a stain party here. I'm going to go ahead and try it the Annie Sloan way. Hey, no priming. We're just going to go ahead and paint it. But since this was a little bit glossy, what I decided to do is I put a little bit of bentonite clay in my Annie Sloan Florence, made it just a little bit thicker because I know with bentonite clay, it is going to stick because that clay will make your paint stick on anything. I went ahead and got this all painted, 2 coats all the way around, except for on the inside where that drawer is going to go back. I am going to leave that with the wood. Now here are the leaf bottoms, and you can see, oh, yep, there it is. See it on the left one? It's leaching through. So I had to go ahead and get the shellac out and spray it, and then I also went ahead and sprayed the top because I did not want any leaching out through the top. Once that was dry, the shellac was dry on the top, I was able to go ahead and get my 2 coats of my Annie Sloan paint here on the top. And 2 coats covered well. Some places it was almost a little bit like 2.5 coats just to get that covered. My first stencil, which is from Arts and Crafts from Made by Marley. And it is a leaf design, and I am going to do the whole top of this table with that design. The next one, I'm going to use some Dixie Belle paint and terracotta, and this is another Made by Marley stencil from the Lore collection, and it's a nice big mandala, and I am going to take that terracotta paint and get that colored in and get the other side matched up. And this is what I had when I was completed with that. Now, on the sides, I put that floral leaf type design going around the outside edge and on that side of the table, and I'm ready for my stamps. This is a Made by Marley stamp from the design called Fable, and I'm using paint. I have Annie Sloan paint on here in paprika red. I'm using a brayer, and you can see what a nice pattern. This stamp is just fabulous. When you're going to come up to an end in your pattern, you got to repeat it. Put a piece of tin foil up there if you don't want to get any paint on the opposite side or someplace. You just don't want to get it on there. Put that tin foil and wrap it there, and then you can go ahead and press that down and pull the tin foil out, and you're good to go. And I also went ahead and put this design on the bottom rail, and then across in the middle, on both sides and the back. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that little arm that comes around to hold that leaf up was kind of missing something. So I took that same stencil and made some designs with the terracotta color as well as on the bottom. I'm going to get this sealed now while it's upside down because it's going to be a lot easier for me to seal it. And I've got the bottom of the table sealed. I'm ready to put this back on so I can finish the top. I really needed to have that top done before I could finish the top of it. Now here's another stamp I'm putting down, and this one is actually from IOD, just a small little border stamp. And I'm sorry, I don't know which one this came from. But it was just enough, small enough, and have to be real careful. And you're not always going to get a perfect design from a stamp. But here I'm at. Now I'm ready to finish both the sides. The side of them tables got the red stamp and some more of those florals going all the way around it to match with the other portion of it. Then another stencil from that Lore package, which is somewhat like a mandala, I guess. So here I am now. It's looking good. I have some Posca pens now, and I'm going to give this some bling bling because I'm really only running on one color right now. So I need a little bit more. And I went ahead and filled in quite a few of the areas here, and you can see how that's popping just a bit there. And while that's drying, I'm going to finish putting the top coat on the rest of the piece, the bottom and the front. So all I really have left to do is that top portion. And here I am getting the top on, and there it is. You can see the smear right there. See how it got really yellow? Well, not very much option here. I had to draw from point to point on the outside edge of that mandala. I'm all just about out of that Florence paint, so I had to get some Provence, which was the other color I used in here, and just make a big circle, put my stencil back on and line it up perfectly and stencil it over again. And that came out pretty good. You could actually see the color, I think, a bit better on that dark. So I added some red just to make that pop a little bit and give that a little bit more definition. Now I'm to the Made by Marley Lulz Lusters. And this is a powder you can mix with liquid text, with wax. So, I mean, just so many different things. Paint. I'm just going to take a little scoop, put it in my Liquitex there, and that's just an acrylic gel medium, and that's all you really need. That's all I needed to do this entire piece. And you're going to mix it up with your acrylic gel, and just look at that. It is just like liquid gold. So this was all I needed to finish up adding the highlights on the top of here, which now she's really looking nice. I'm liking this a whole lot better. I think I'm pretty satisfied, except for this time, I'm going to spray with some polyacrylic on the mandalas because I'm not going to take a chance. Usually I do this, but I just, for some reason, cannot get it. Now, I'm going to take and seal this with my polyacrylic, some matte, and this time, no problems. 3 coats on the top of this table. I sanded in between with 600 grit, and she is beautiful. This has got a pretty tough coat all the way around. She is durable. Now, I have some Dixie Belle brown wax, and this is a water-based wax, so you can put this on, well, actually under your top coat, and you can put it on over your top coat. It's still going to dry either way, and I just wanted a very light amount. Feed-in wax, Howard's Feed Wax. I cleaned the inside of that drawer, and then I put some beeswax oil on the rails, on the inside as well on the rails. So when this goes back in, it's going to slide really, really nice. Here's a little more brown wax. I'm going to try to get in any type of groove, and you can see through either just lightly massaging that in, wiping it with a cloth. I'm just going to leave it enough so it looks like it's got a little wear on it. So pretty good. Hey, take the dirt off, put some more dirt back on. That's the way it goes. Now, I'm just putting some, rubbing it in with the heel of my hand on the outside edge and then down where that seam is. There she was when I started. Oh, man, she was sad. Here she is now. I think she's ready for a second chance at life. I want to thank Crystal and Levon for hosting the Twice as Nice challenge from the Unique Antique series, and I will have a copy of the playlist in my description. I want to thank Made by Marley. I am a brand ambassador for their decoupage paper company. I will have all the information with the stencils I used in the description and her address where you can find her. And thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Christmas is coming.